How are we, my friends? And I hope life is treating you well on this beautiful Tuesday evening. You are very welcome along to today's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. I'm going to take you through the latest news around Liverpool Football Club, including a potential destination for Federico Chiesa that hasn't really been mentioned yet. We're going to be talking about Trent's future, of course, and what did Linda mean with her googly eyes emoji. That and lots more to come, including a couple of updates around Luis Diaz and a potential new deal for him. All of that to come over the next few minutes, but you know what I'm going to say next. We want to know your thoughts, so do let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you happen to enjoy it, and most importantly, we would love you to hit that subscribe button. Now, I won't be live tonight at 8:45, as like many of you guys. I'll be tuning in to watch the Arsenal PSG game, but we will be back tomorrow, 8:45, for another late night agenda. There will be a second news video coming out tonight at around 10 o'clock, so keep an eye out for that one. But for now, let's get stuck into the news. We're going to start off with a piece from Lewis Steele that talks about Liverpool getting ready for a big summer window. Now, what is a big summer window? It is a subjective term, and I guess each person will have their own interpretation of it. But this is what Lewis Steele had to say. Liverpool are already plotting how to win league title number 21, with the club set to commit to a big investment this summer. The Reds are planning for a busy summer transfer window to capitalise on their title triumph. FSG will back Arne Slot to make several signings. Now, that's great, and I hope very much so that we are heading in that direction. But I guess what is a big window is open to subjectivity. We've already seen some reports saying that Liverpool may be looking at the money Bournemouth are asking for Milos Kerkez as too much for a fullback. So I really don't know what to think as of yet. But as I've said all the way through, I'm willing to be won over. I'm willing to be convinced, but I'll also believe it when I see it. Now, moving on to Trent for a second. So we've spoken about the picture with John W. Henry. We've spoken about Cody Gakpo saying that the lads have already renewed and hopefully Trent will. But Linda Putizzi has now jumped into this conversation as well. So a user on one of the social media platforms, I'm not actually sure which one this is from, could be Instagram, said, just throwing in that Trent photo as Linda posted the photo with John W. Henry and Trent Alexander-Arnold. And the reply to it from Linda was quite simply just a pair of googly eyes. Now, I don't know if that means they're working on something. I don't know if it was just Linda being polite to somebody. I really don't know. And look, I never like to bring John's good lady wife into it. I'm only bringing her name into it because I'm trying to use it in a positive way and I'm trying to just gauge the Trent situation. And I really don't know is the answer. David Ornstein, speaking about it, said, it's long been the case that we're expecting Trent to join Real Madrid. But of course, until absolutely everything is finalised, that door is just slightly ajar. I don't know, some journalists are starting to hedge their bets on this one a little bit. Again, we've no clear indication to suggest that Trent has had a change of heart or is going to remain at Anfield. We certainly hope that that is the case. But, you know, if you put all these things together, it certainly doesn't feel like it's a formality at this point or that the club have given up the idea of keeping Trent. So let's wait and see. We've already had lip-reading experts trying to figure out what John was saying to Trent. Now, of course, we have Linda replying to that user with the googly eyes emoji. I don't know, but I'm not going to give anybody any false hope. So we'll see what happens when it happens. But do let me know in the comments how you're interpreting these things. Now a bit of an exclusive around the future of Rodrigo Goes from Real Madrid. Apparently he will be available to be sold this summer. Now, I don't think Liverpool will be a buyer. Perhaps if Mohamed Salah hadn't stayed at the club, Liverpool may have felt the need to look for somebody like Rodrigo. But the king is staying and we don't have any need for that. And especially at the amount of money I would imagine that Real Madrid are going to look for. So this piece said, if an offer comes in for Rodrigo Goes, he will be sold this summer. Let me know where you think he ends up and let me know what you think he's worth, by the way, with regards to a transfer fee. So we've seen Cody Gakpo score. We've seen Cody Gakpo celebrate with a t-shirt that said, I belong to Jesus. Well, according to Telefootball, he could be about to get in some trouble for that. So we know that, one, players always get booked when they take their top off. That doesn't matter what's underneath. That's just the Premier League rule. But this goes a little bit deeper. Let me read out to you. So on the Anfield Agenda account, we posted that according to Telefootball, Cody Gakpo could face sanctions from the FA for his celebration versus Spurs. The FA handbook prohibits the displaying of political, religious or personal slogans, statements or images. Now, I guess my question, everybody else's question, is where do you draw the line with these things? So all of us would support some initiatives, let's say like the Rainbow Laces campaign and the armbands with the rainbow LGBTQ plus colours adorned on it. We all support that. Well, at least, look, I don't want to speak for everybody. I know there are people of different mindsets from all over the world, but we know that that was done with good intent. So where do you draw the line with these things? So Cody Gakpo was basically speaking about his own religious beliefs, as we've seen. So I hope that there are no fines or anything forthcoming. But it is one of these situations where I guess the FA have almost painted themselves into a corner. But what's right and what's wrong and what's going to be enforced and what isn't? Well, look, it isn't for me to say. I hope Cody Gakpo faces no punishment because I don't believe anybody in that type of situation should. But just keep an eye on it because you never know with modern football and the way the FA are. Cody Gakpo was clearly just showing where his faith lies, and personally, of course, I've no issue with that, and I hope the FA don't either. Let's move on to speak about Luis Diaz because Pepe Sierra has given potentially a positive update. So this piece at Anfield Sector, credit them for the post, said, in the coming weeks, Liverpool and Lucho Diaz will sit down to discuss the Colombian's contract renewal and find out where they stand in the negotiations. Liverpool has among its objectives to renew Lucho Diaz's contract. Now, I've long said to you guys, I would sell Darwin and Jota before I'd look at selling Diaz, and I'd be much, much happier if Diaz stayed with Cody Gakpo because we've really good options on that left-hand side. I don't see the need to rock the boat. So I hope that Lucho and Liverpool can agree an extension and that he stays. I would then move on to look at selling two of our centre-forwards in Diogo and Darwin because I believe they are the two biggest underperformers in the forward line. Again, nothing personal against either of them, just trying to call it as I see it and talk about how I think we could strengthen. Premier League champions Liverpool are set to invest heavily in the squad during this summer's transfer window, with a striker and a left back their priorities, according to The Telegraph. Morgan Rogers. So I said to you guys the other day that because of PSR stuff, Aston Villa could be forced into potential sale. But ironically, Miguel Delaney today has listed Chelsea as one of the clubs that may look at Morgan Rogers. Now, I'm a big fan of Miguel Delaney as a journalist. I think he does incredible work, but I'm a little bit confused by something that I'm hoping maybe somebody could clear up for me. So this piece here from Miguel said, Chelsea targeting Morgan Rogers for the summer. Aston Villa obviously don't want to sell, but there's a feeling in football that the PSR churn is going to force clubs into transfer decisions that they wouldn't otherwise make. Now, not in any way saying Miguel Delaney's information there is incorrect. He's a very good journalist and very well connected. I guess my question is, if Aston Villa are going to have their own PSR concerns, when do Chelsea have to face down that potential? Because there's only so many hotels they can sell to themselves, women's football teams they can sell to themselves to find ways around PSR. 42, 43 transfers, 1.3 billion spent on transfers in the last 2.5 years. At what point does PSR come into play for Chelsea? Because go all the way back to the Abramovich era to now, it feels like they never get held to account for the amount of spending they do. So Villa have to sell a player and one of their star players for PSR requirements. Surely the pressure has to come on Chelsea around that very soon. Right, let's move on to Alexis Mac Allister for a minute, because one of Liverpool's best players this season, I think we'd all agree on that one. And now a couple of reports, MACCA and Defensa Central, of course both coming from the Spanish-speaking side of things, say that in recent weeks Alexis Mac Allister has been tied to rumours about a move to Spain. Now we know that he's not going anywhere and that Liverpool would absolutely have no intentions of selling. But the reason I bring this piece up is the price tag is what I find personally hilarious about it. So they say that the Reds value their midfielder at about £85 million. We do, yeah, of course we do. Double that and you're probably closer to the truth. Alexis Mac Allister is definitely worth 120 to 150 million pound of anybody's money, but he's not getting sold. So again, I wouldn't worry about it. You're probably going to see more and more of these links, but we've heard from the man himself what it means to him to play for Liverpool, the weight of the shirt, the pride that he takes in wearing it. And of course, we all love Alexis Mac Allister, so don't get concerned about it. But it was the price tag that made me laugh. So I promised you at the start of the video that I had a potential of where we may see Federico Chiesa go. And according to a report in Turkey, Jose Mourinho is pushing for Fenerbahce to make a move. Liverpool signed him for 12.5 million. Hasn't played very much at all this season. And again, is probably going to be moved on this summer. So I've no idea if Fenerbahce would be able to come up with the money it would take, or if Federico would have any interest in going to Turkey. But they do link Jose Mourinho's club with a move for him, and of course we know that there's interest in the likes of Napoli and I think Roma and a few other clubs in Serie A. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we're up to until now. But don't worry, we have some other stuff that we're still digging deep on, and we will be back about 10 o'clock to give you another news update as and when we have more information. Enjoy what is a beautiful Tuesday evening, and of course if you want to come and see us in Liverpool for either of our two live shows, May 25th and May 28th, you can get your tickets with the link in the description. Until then, have a wonderful day. Much love. Bye-bye.